Hey, in 1 Samuel chapter 23, there are some incredibly chunky life lessons that teach us some really cool things about just how to relate to God, how to relate to the people around us. David has learned not to make a move without God. God is not his co-pilot. God is his pilot. God is his navigator. He is fully aware of that. And he's not willing to take any steps without God. He hears that Keilah, this little nation, is being attacked, a little city, and ransacked by the Philistines. They're being attacked, they're being ransacked. The Philistines are being extremely mean people. So he prays, and he prays in verse 2, he says this. He prayed and asked God for guidance. David said to the Lord, "Should I attack these Philistines?" The Eternal One said this, "Yes, save Keilah and defeat the Philistines." David's men were still a little nervous. They still didn't know because they were on the run themselves. They didn't want to draw any attention to themselves. They weren't sure if they could win this. They weren't sure if they could go up against the Philistines. So David talks to God once again. And verse 4 says this, "So David asked the Eternal again just to make sure, and the Eternal One said, 'Yes, defend Keilah. I will grant you victory over the Philistines.'" So they go and they rescue this city. They rescue Keilah, and everything is cool. And then they find out that Saul finds out. Okay, Saul finds out that they're in Keilah, so he gives hot pursuit. He's chasing them, and his plan is to kind of ambush them there, and they're kind of trapped in the city walls. And so he's going to take advantage of that, and he's going to go and get them. Now David's a little nervous at this point, so he prays once again to God, and he prays, "Well, I know that Saul's coming, or I've heard that rumor. Is he really coming?" And God says, "Yes, he's coming." And then David says, "Well, what about the citizens of Keilah, the people that I just rescued, the people that I just saved, the people that kind of owe me their life? Are they going to betray me when Saul shows up?" And God says, "Yes, they are going to betray you when Saul shows up." So David takes off, and he escapes, and it's a beautiful story. Now, the people that David had just rescued were going to turn around and betray him. And that's true of all of us. Sometimes some people will betray you because people are flawed. People are fickle. Here's what you do. Rescue them anyway. Even if they're going to betray you, still rescue them. Don't let the chance that people won't love you back keep you from loving them in the first place. People are going to betray you. People aren't going to love you back. Love them anyway. Rescue them anyway. Don't be afraid to love. Don't be afraid to reach out. Some people won't betray you, though, and that's where we run into Jonathan again. Okay, remember Jonathan? He's incredible. He is the super friend. And in verse 16 and 17, he shows up. We're going to read this. "Then Jonathan, son of Saul, figured out where David was and went out to meet him at Horesh. Although David and his men were in a tight spot, Jonathan reassured David's faith in the true God." That's what true friends do. Real friends reassure your faith when you're in a tight spot. There's no, "I told you so." There's no, "serves you right," or no, "yeah, if you had just done it like me." They reassure your faith when you're in a tight spot. They're true friends, and that's what Jonathan does in this situation. And then he says this to David, "Don't be afraid. My father Saul will not get his hands on you today or any other day. Someday you will be king over all Israel, and I will be second to you." I love this attitude in Jonathan because it's basically, I am second. It's basically, there's this whole incredible campaign called I Am Second. And it basically says, I'm second to Jesus. Jesus is first in my life, I am second. And that's Jonathan's attitude towards his friend David. And he's like, I am second. I'm willing to be your understudy. I am willing to back you up. And I'm going to be loyal to you no matter what. It's totally unselfish. And that's the way we need to be towards our friends. Okay, so here are the life lessons. First, listen to God. Love people no matter how they respond. Be loyal to those around you, and be second. God bless you guys. Giddy up!